Hey guys, welcome to Tip Tuesday. Today we're going to be talking about habits. Now, what are habits? Habits are simply automated behaviors. Many of the habits with which we live our lives are an efficient way of behaving, saving us time and energy. For example, I wake up, I go to the bathroom, I brush my teeth, I wash my face, and I make my morning coffee pretty much the same way every morning without really thinking about it. It's just a routine. If you had to concentrate on backing your car out of the driveway every single time you did it, or if you had to concentrate on how to drive to work every morning, you wouldn't have time to do all of the other things that your brain does while you're doing your habit. In fact, how many times have you driven home from somewhere and when you got home, you had absolutely no recollection of the drive? If you weren't concentrating on driving, then why didn't you crash? That's the magic of habits. We go into autopilot and our brain stops working around a specific action, thought, or belief. It frees up mental activity for other things. Habits are no-brainers. Now, some habits have a neutral impact on our well-being. Other habits are health-promoting. And then there are those ingrained habits that are health-destroying, that have a severe negative impact on our level of wellness. Some key elements in the formation of a habit. Number one, habit loops. Behavioral psychology researchers have identified a three-step sequence that each habit follows. This three-step sequence is called a behavior chain, also known as a habit loop. Now let's take a closer look at the three steps of the behavior chain as they occur. Step one, the cue or trigger. A cue or trigger can be anything which signals you to enact a habitual behavior. A trigger can be a sound, an action, a thought, a feeling, a sight, an emotion, or even a particular person. Triggers occur normally throughout the day. For example, the sound of an alarm triggers us to get out of bed in the morning. Seeing your sneakers and workout clothes at the foot of your bed can be a trigger to exercise. Finishing dinner can be a trigger to light up a cigarette. The feelings of stress or boredom can trigger the desire to eat junk food. We are particularly interested in cues that trigger unconscious eating or consumption of large quantities of certain types of food. Step two is the routine. This is the actual behavior or sequence of actions that is enacted once triggered by a cue. Step three, the reward. This is the desired result of the habit. The reward of a habit can be anything from the endorphins released from exercising to the sense of stress released from smoking a cigarette. Now let's talk about cravings. The cravings we experience around habits are the result of the anticipation between the cue and the reward. Cues in your environment can trigger a craving for something by making you anticipate the reward. For example, you know what it's like to walk past the window of a cake shop and suddenly you crave something sweet. In that situation, the visual cue or trigger signaled your body to anticipate the learned reward from eating a piece of sugary cake. This anticipation for the reward is the craving that you experience. Over time, as a habit gets reinforced, these cravings can become neurologically etched in your brain and can be quite powerful. As we start to understand the behavior chain and the mechanism by which a habit is set in motion and cravings are experienced, we can take certain steps to control our environments so that we reduce our exposure to cues for negative habits and increase our exposure to cues for positive habits. The second element in the formation of a habit is repetition. Over time, as we repeat a behavior that brings about a positive reward, the brain remembers the routine and automatically triggers the behavior when the cue occurs in the future. Gradually, this three-step sequence becomes more and more ingrained and automatic, forming a habit. That's why when a client is attempting to change a daily habit that they've performed thousands of times over 10 or 20 years, it's no wonder they find it challenging to change. Sometimes learning new habits means letting go of something that's been a comfort or a coping mechanism for a long time. Repetition of a new habit will require some mental and physical effort at first. But when you repeat something enough times, you establish new neural pathways in the brain that your habit flows through effortlessly and automatically, allowing you to focus on other tasks. The third element in the formation of a habit is ease. The easier things are, the more likely we are to do them. This goes for the positive habits we would like to perform, as well as the negative habits that we would like to break. Knowing this, we can try to anticipate obstacles which may stand in the way of performing a positive habit, as well as obstacles that we can intentionally put in the way of performing a negative habit. The goal with this is to make positive habits as easy as possible and make negative habits as difficult as possible. We make success inevitable by intelligently setting up our environment, decreasing our reliance on memory, willpower, and motivation when trying to change our behavior. This is why scheduling new habits first thing in the morning often gets you the best results. It's easier to do things before the distractions of the day worm their way into your progress. A morning routine is a powerful way to kickstart the day. The fourth element in the formation of a habit is patience. Most habits take a while to produce the desired result, which makes them more difficult to stick with because we humans love immediate gratification. This is why relishing the fact that you're showing up at all, keeping track of your progress, acknowledging how far you've come, and looking for the tiny victories and rewards is so important. If weight loss is your goal, then by following our plan as it is presented, you can expect a gradual drop in body weight until normal, healthy body weight is restored. For some people, this may take only 1 or 2 months. For others, 6 months to a year. And for those with severe weight and health problems, a year or more. The bottom line is, if you are consistent, it will happen. However, if weight loss is a goal, it's important that you understand that the focus during the process should be on making changes and creating habits that allow weight loss to occur, not just numbers on a scale. As part of your custom nutrition template and eating guide, you will receive a daily and weekly nutrition and habit tracking checklist. By tracking your habits and tasks every day and every week, you'll see how many days and weeks you've stayed on course with your new habits, which is a huge accomplishment in itself. You may choose to use the daily habit and checklist or tracker provided, or you can use your preferred habit tracker, journal app, etc. The fifth element in the formation of a habit is beliefs. Habits are responsible for much more than just the actions we take. Our beliefs, thoughts, and words are also habits. When you think or say the same thing over and over again, it becomes a habit of thought. A habit of thought over time and repetition becomes an attitude or belief. Just like habitual actions and behaviors, beliefs or habits of thought are specific neural patterns that are so ingrained they've become automatic. Your beliefs or habits of thought are 1,000 times stronger than your desires. Not 10 times stronger, not 100 times stronger, 1,000 times stronger. The biggest obstacle to most people's goals is that they consciously or unconsciously do not believe it will happen or that it can be done. You simply cannot achieve a goal that you do not believe you can achieve, because those beliefs live in the subconscious brain, the part of the brain that's running the show, even though we are typically not aware of it. Here's how it works. 1, your beliefs are habits of thought, opinions, and attitudes about the world around you, and especially your beliefs about you, about your life. 2, Your beliefs or habits of thought affect your perception, what you see, or how you interpret an experience. 3, your perception affects how you feel. 4, how you feel determines the way you behave or your habits. 5, beliefs are self-fulfilling, so your body or your behavior must follow your beliefs. Let that one sink in for a minute. 6, your limiting thoughts create images in your mind, and those images govern your behavior, which in turn reinforces the limiting thought. In other words, your beliefs create your experience, and your experience confirms your beliefs. Number 7, conclusion. Willpower and knowledge will not cut it. If you want to change your habits and behaviors and achieve lasting results, you must start by updating your beliefs. Otherwise, your existing limiting subconscious beliefs will end up sabotaging every new goal you set for yourself. The first step to making any major behavior change in our lives is always awareness. The next, and probably the most important step, is taking 100% responsibility for our lives. When it comes to aligning the habits you want to perform or free yourself from with the person you are becoming, you're going to want to start noticing the specifics of how you're behaving right now. That means paying attention to your words, your thoughts, your beliefs, and actions, and challenging, then changing anything that is not in alignment with where you are headed. The sixth element in the formation of a habit is identity. Most programs will tell you what to eat, what to avoid, and how to train. But if you think about it, most of us know what to do. We just aren't doing it consistently, right? We don't need more information. In fact, we have too much information. We are inundated with it. One of the many reasons that we fail to stick to good habits and ditch negative ones is that we focus on changing what we're doing or not doing without also making sure that we embrace this habit as a new and valuable part of our identity. In other words, who are we being? This is where habit change coaching comes in. The habit change coaching method is about facilitating lasting transformation, helping people make positive changes in their lives that support well-being. We call this transformational coaching. Think of transformational coaching as this giant umbrella that commissions the 3 levels of change, which are 1, behavior or habits, 2, beliefs, and 3, identity. The basis of most coaching models is to 1, identify a client's wants and obstacles, and 2, identify ways to remove those obstacles. Now, this is a good start, but it has critical missing elements. What happens at this point is that this creates a temporary breakthrough, which feels good in the moment for the client because they seem to have this grand aha. But before long, the old habits will start rushing back. If the coach doesn't know how to facilitate deep, lasting transformation, then they must create the same breakthrough over and over again. And eventually, those temporary feel-good breakthroughs will stop working. The secret is to change someone's experience without them having to remember to be different. When you're different without having to remember to be different, you're doing something similar to a neurological restructuring on an identity level. So habits are not just something you do, they actually become who you are. This is the magic. True behavior change is identity change. Identity is probably the most important element in habit creation. It's not about willing yourself to go to the gym every day. It's not about depriving yourself of the foods that you love. It's about becoming the kind of person who chooses healthy living because it's who you are. When looking to make positive changes in our lives, we need to understand the role that our identity plays in driving our behavior. Contrary to popular belief, habits are more about who you are being than what you are doing. Everything you think, say, and do needs to become intentional and aligned with your purpose, your values, and your goals. When I'm taking a client through the Moxie Total Transformation 90-Day Intensive, I help them understand how habits work and teach them strategies they can use to build positive habits and eliminate negative ones. I help them gain clarity on the type of person they want to grow to become and build a strong internal narrative with behavior priming mantras that will support them in their journey. I help them update their beliefs and identity to match the habits that they're adopting. I help them successfully introduce several key positive habits and practices to benefit different areas of their life and reinforce them to the point where they are automatic, eliminating the need for constant willpower and motivation. I help them easily track their progress and record their small wins daily and weekly, helping them stay accountable and focused. And in this way, build positive momentum and motivation to keep improving. When taking a client through the Total Transformation 90-Day Intensive, we begin by focusing on the first level of change, behaviors and habits. Then we dive deep into the next two levels of change, beliefs and identity. If you're interested in hearing more about the Total Transformation 90-Day Intensive, please contact me at Tracey@moxiecoaching.net. That's TRACEY at Moxie, MOXIE, coaching, COACHING.net. You can also check out my website at moxiecoaching.net. I look forward to hearing from you.